Hi everyone, welcome to Stogie Geeks Shorts, the Candelas. That's right, in this shorts, we're going to talk about some of the Candelas we've reviewed over the years. I want to start by first talking about the history behind the Candela and how it gets that distinctive green color. I thought it was appropriate with St. Patrick's Day right around the corner, where all the cigar manufacturers are releasing their Candela cigars. Candela's green color comes from picking the leaves before they fully matured off the tobacco plant, drying them quickly, which preserves the chlorophyll. And that's really all I want to, we could do a whole segment on the Candela process, right? But I just wanted to summarize that for our listeners. On the lines via Skype, Mr. Will Cooper, of course, is here with us to talk about some of our favorite Candelas.
Yeah, so it's that time of the year, like you said, St. Patrick's Day, and this is probably the one time of the year where the Candela gets a lot of love.
Absolutely. Not all Candelas rate the same here on the Stogie Geeks as with all cigars. As Will pointed out just before we started recording, they will lose a lot of that green color, and they'll turn more brownish as you age them. And it'll change over time. I think, a fresh Candela certainly has a very herbal, grassy note. And I think this first one that we have here as a try one is the Alec Bradley Filthy Hooligan. And this is one that I smoked when it first came on the market. And it had that very herbally, grassy flavor. And if you're not into that, then, your rating probably isn't going to be as high. But I find they do age really well, Will. And you reviewed this same cigar, right? The Black Market Filthy Hooligan, and you gave it a box split.
Right, but I probably wouldn't have had it. Was, if you kind of look at the date of that review, it was a year later where I smoked that 2013, which was the first edition, and I think It did age much better over time.
Interesting.
So I think you had it as a try one, which maybe I go try one fiver when it first came out, but it did age very nicely.
Yeah, it's interesting. Most of the Candelas that we've reviewed on the show fall into that fiver category, and I think it's because it's such a specific flavor profile. And if you like that, you might rate it higher.
Yeah, and I that's what I would say. And it's a tricky blend to work with in general too.
Yeah, the wrapper it definitely dominates the flavor profiles of these cigars. Viaje White Label Project Candela from there. Was there a 2010, 11, 12?
11, 12, 13.
11, 12, 13. So it was 3 releases of the Viaje White Label. And this is a good Candela. It's rated fiver pretty much across the board in our rating system. And I think that's a fair rating for this cigar.
Yeah, in fact, the 11 I may put a little higher. That 11 is one of the unsung Candelas out there. That's a cigar I think when it came out, it was a little better. I think that might have lost a little age in the aging process. But that 11, I thought, was Andre's best of those Candelas when he was doing them.
The Arturo Fuente 858 Candela, that's one that's been around for a really long time. That's been a regular production cigar for them for some time.
Yeah, so you can, as opposed to the ones we've been talking about, like Viaje and Alec Bradley, you really can only get them once a year. This one is one regularly available that you can go in and buy. It's actually, I think they technically, no, I'm wrong. It is called the Candela.
It is called the Candela. It's the 858 Candela. As an Arturo Fuente wrapper on it, I don't know if we can get it up on the screen. It's very green. It's like you said, that Kermit the Frog.
Green. It's Kermit the Frog. Yeah.
It's it's almost like glowing green. And I've smoked those fresh. I rated it at fiver. And I think that over time, it will probably get a little better with age. And I think a year in your humidor is going to take that neon green color down a couple of notches.
Yep, yeah, it certainly will do it. The other regular production cigar I'll just note here, and I don't think we may not have reviewed it, is the Double Claro by La Flor Dominicana, which is their Candela.
Yes, I have some of those, and I don't think I've reviewed them on the show. I should go back and smoke one and review it on the show and add it into our mix. And we'll put the links to all of these reviews in the associated notes for this segment as well, so you can go read all of the reviews. The other one I had in there was an Asylum 13 Ogre Lancero. Now, this one's different because it is a mixture of different wrappers. So there's a dark wrapper mixed in with the Candela wrapper.
It's a Habano wrapper, Barbara Pole styled.
It's not the one that's next to me on the screen right now.
No.
That is the VIA white label project that's next to me. That's okay.
No, but that Ogre, I tell you what, they did a good job with that Ogre Lancero. And the funny thing about that, is I've smoked that Ogre, which was originally a 70 ring gauge, and I thought it was really good in the 70 ring gauge.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they went to a 38 with that, I thought they did a good job at taking that, and they took a lot, they took that quite downs away. I thought they did a very good job with that as well. Like I said, around a $5 you're looking at with these cigars, which is still a very good rating in our book.
I've seen multiple releases where they intertwine the Candela in like a barber pole with a Habano or Maduro wrapper. And that's interesting because you do get some of those Candela flavors, but they're not as overwhelming.
I heard someone once mention that there was a Between the Lines by Fuente that was a Candela that maybe was floating around in house.
Mm-hmm.
May have been like Cigar Dave mentioning it, but I don't think it ever made it to market. That would have been awesome if they did that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
My pick for a Candela is the Illusion 888 Candela.
You've really liked that.
I've always really liked this one. There's a lot of great Nicaraguan filler that tends to offset that herbal grassy notes that you get from the Candela wrapper. They age super well. I like it in, I believe it's the Toro size that I bought a box of to commemorate the birth of my son just about 3 years ago. As he was born in March, I wanted, it was around St. Patrick's Day, so I chose this Candela. And I really like this cigar a lot. I rated it a box worthy.
Yeah, I remember the show you did with that when he was born, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's a very, I've always been a little more partial to the Robusto in that line, which is a very, very good as well. This is the 888's more of a Corona Gorda or double Corona.
Yeah, it's like a big Toro.
It's like a big Toro. It's much longer. It's much longer.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess you call that a double Robusto. No, double Corona. Double Corona.
Yeah,
there it is, right there. Good job, guys.
It's a 6 3/4 by 48. It's actually more of a Churchill.
More of a Churchill size.
More of a Churchill. Yep.
Yeah, it's very good. It's my choice for Candela. Now, are these regular production, Will?
Yeah, these are regular production.
Okay. Yeah, yep. I like this one the best. And I went back through all of our reviews, looking at all the Candelas. I like to do that here on the Stogie Geek Shorts, is kind of focus in on one specific type of cigar. This one is very easy to focus in on because they fall. You can put these in a square category. And now all of them smoke differently, but that Candela wrapper is very unique. So
yeah. I know, we were talking, one of my favorites, and we'll be kind of talking about this on the March 17th Stogie Geeks, is Roma Craft's Cro-Magnon Fomorian.
Which is Roma Craft's Candela offering.
Which they took the Candela wrapper and they put it on the Cro-Magnon EMH. And that is a fantastic, and we'll kind of whet your appetite a bit, but we'll talk more about that cigar on the show.
We're going to smoke that on the show next Thursday.
Absolutely. Yeah, and then for folks looking for Candelas right now on the market, there's just a couple more you can keep your eyes on. Alec Bradley's got a Filthy Hooligan with a barber pole this year.
Mm-hmm.
And Moya Ruiz just released their pickle juice cigar.
And that comes in a pickle jar.
Koshka comes in a pickle jar, yeah.
That's awesome.
And I'll be talking about that probably on the next show as well.
Excellent. Well, that rounds out the Candela wrappers. Make sure you check out our Stogie Geeks Stogies feed. You can go to stogiegeeks.com, click on the Stogies feed link, and that will give you mini reviews of everything we reviewed on the show, Candela wrappers and more. Thanks, everyone, for watching.